Do you sometimes feel like you're just not spiritual enough for the spiritual community? Or maybe you're a little bit sheepish about your fascination with the moon when it comes to like traditional corporate society? If you answered yes to either of those in the comments below, I have something for you. Hello, sweet souls. My name is Carolina Jimena, and I am the founder of Authentic Souls Club. And my goal with this channel is to change the way people look at spirituality. I've always felt like I have been this bridge between these two worlds of being incredibly spiritual, incredibly connected to my intuition, incredibly connected to the moon and to my rituals and all of that jazz, but then also being really analytical and really goal oriented and really organized. And so I have noticed that there's this gap missing in this space for people who really appreciate simple spirituality, basic spirituality. Like, I feel like there's a lot of gatekeeping and a lot of shame and a lot of stigmatizing in the spiritual community. Like, oh, you don't know all your crystals, or you don't use incantations, or you don't use herbs, or you don't know all your herbs, or you use oracle over tarot. Like, that's so basic. And it's just like, does it work? Does it work for me? Am I getting the results that I need to get? Am I getting the messages that I need to get? Yes and yes. So mission fucking accomplished. Get off your high horse. So what I want to talk about today is this community that I created for people just like me who feel like they're straddling these two worlds and who feel like they're not spiritual enough for the spiritual community, or witchy enough for the spiritual community. And so today I want to walk you through a community that I created for spiritually curious millennials who are interested in or are currently practicing a really practical approach to their spirituality. And so, yeah, let's dive into that. I want to walk you through 4 different tiers that I've created in my community where you can find which one best suits you. Okay, so this is kind of like what you would see, kind of, but it's like the back end version of what I see, but as like my preview. Anyways, doesn't fucking matter. But here is my Patreon community. So you can see here, I have a cute little banner at the top. And then here you can choose your membership level. So you can find where you are in your spiritual journey. So whether you are just spiritually curious. So like I say here, like this tier is if you're just kind of starting off and you're interested in dipping your toes in a little bit. And what you get in this tier is you get 1 extra video per month, which is going to be voted on by you. So like my content calendar, I decide what videos I'm going to record and when. Obviously, I take suggestions, in my Instagram DMs and other places. Like if people bring me questions or ideas or whatever, then I put it into a little list in my project management software. Which, yes, being a spiritual person, you can still have project management software. You can be both. I'm just so annoyed. I'm so annoyed, which is why I created this space. I'm just so annoyed with the spiritual community. Anyways, we are changing the way you look at spirituality. That's the goal. So you get an extra video, and those videos are going to be a little bit like higher level. So I'm recording this in February, and I've just launched this space. So my first kind of month of content in the Patreon community is going to be March. And so since I don't have anybody in the community yet, I have decided what the first video is going to be, and it's going to be about cycle syncing. It's going to be about my experiment with cycle syncing, which is like a heavily information-based video. And so I'm going to reserve that for people in the community, because it is such a valuable piece of content, and like I said, really information based. So I want to keep that exclusively for the Patreon community. But in the future, that will be voted on by you, like what you actually want to hear or want to see. Maybe I mention something, and then that will give you the opportunity to be like, hey, I want to hear more about that, which of course you can do on my regular channel as well. This is just going to take priority, and depending on the level of value of information and how articulate or detailed or intense the information is, we'll decide whether it's just a Patreon exclusive piece of content or it'll go up on the regular channel. And then you also get a monthly downloadable. So maybe like a meditation, the moon calendar. So if you're unaware, the moon goes through different elements and different zodiac signs throughout the month. And so it goes through 4 different elements, the fire element, earth element, water element, and air element. And depending on what element the moon is in, there's a different energy and how it affects you and all of that kind of stuff. This is not a moon course, which I do have, but yeah, so it'll be something like that. So where I will create like a graphic and map out the moon's elements for you. So you already just have this calendar and you don't have to kind of go searching for that information on your own. Like I said, cycle syncing cheat sheet. So for cycle syncing, like I use it as a foundation for everything from my skincare to what I eat to how I work out to the tasks that I do in my business to the tasks I do at home, like my productivity, my self-care, all of that. I use cycle syncing as a foundation and it has been amazing. Journal prompts, etc. And then this is also like you can put requests in. If you see something on my Instagram or my TikTok or on my YouTube or whatever, and you're like, oh, what is that? Like, I want that. I'll definitely create it for you. And then you also get $15 off regular price card readings. So I do card readings and they are regularly priced $75. I'll put the link below if that's something that you're interested in doing. Maybe the Patreon community is not for you, but you are interested in a card reading. I'll put the regular price link in the description below. But if you are a Patreon member, you get $15 off regular priced readings, which that in and of itself is already like saving you money because as you can see here, the spiritually curious level is $5 US, which translates to $7 Canadian on the site here. So you're paying $7 to be in the spiritually curious level of the Patreon community and you're saving almost double that in order to book a card reading. So that's VIP pricing. And then also the people who are in my spiritually curious level will get added to my close friends list on Instagram, which will again get more exclusive content. I really love just kind of talking to the camera. Obviously, I have a YouTube channel, but sometimes there are just ideas that I have that are just short and sweet. They usually end up being like 4 or 5 minutes long. They're not fully fledged out to be a whole YouTube episode, but they are something that I think is valuable for my community. So I'll just pop them up in my stories. So that'll be for the spiritually curious level. You'll get access to those exclusive stories, polls. I also do a weekly oracle card pull, which I've been doing on my Instagram for I don't even know how long now, but I've recently put out a notice that is going to be happening publicly just once a month. Disclaimer, it's going to be happening during my ovulation week when I have lots of energy and I'm very charming and all of that kind of stuff. So the public weekly oracle card will be once a month. And then every week beyond that will be just for my close friends list. So if that's something that you've looked forward to, if you like doing the little draggy thingy and choosing a card and then popping in the question box for your own personal question to get a card pull, just something fun to do. That'll also be on my close friends list for my Instagram, which you can get access to in the spiritually curious level. So all of that's a lot in this one level, this like introductory level, if you will, the spiritually curious level for $5 US a month. You might be saying like, why is it priced so low? And it's because I wanted this to be accessible. I started my business 4 years ago wanting to start a blog, to be completely honest, wanting to take all of the information that I have from my financial background, from my corporate background, from all of these different backgrounds, and then my spirituality background, even like products that I use, how I do my hair, like all of these different things that people are constantly asking me about. I wanted to create a blog for it, but I still had a lot of limiting beliefs around being able to create content and all of that kind of stuff. So then I started my podcast, yada, yada, yada. I don't want to get like too down the rabbit hole here, but I went back to my original mission and wanting my content to be accessible. And in astrology, I have a lot of them signs in my astrology chart, which means that like I'm really here for a collective. I'm really here for a large scale community. And so in my business, when I was doing one-on-one coaching, I loved it. And I'm so grateful for it. I had such amazing conversations, and I was really able to kind of pinpoint who it is I help and all of that kind of stuff. But it was time for me to move on from that and really take everything I've learned in the last 4+ years, not just in my business, and create content to really be accessible for people who are curious about spirituality, who are maybe just starting out, or who are maybe just like a little bit sheepish and the spiritual community is not very welcoming to them. I really want to change that. I really want to change and remove that barrier to entry, if you will. So that's why I kind of came up with this pricing structure here. So then going into the next level, spiritually learning, this tier is for you is if you've been DIYing it a little bit. So you know that you're interested in spirituality, you've been learning about a couple things, maybe you've read some human design books, some astrology books, you've watched some YouTube, but you would really love to just have a space where you feel comfortable talking about this stuff. Like I said at the very beginning, like sometimes you might feel like not spiritual enough for the spiritual community, or you might feel a little bit sheepish talking about this stuff with your, traditionally corporate friends and whatnot. So again, I wanted to create a space where people would feel safe and would feel comfortable having these discussions and being able to like bounce back and forth ideas. So in the spiritually curious level, you get the spiritually learning level, you get everything in the spiritually curious tier, on top of being able to access my Discord community. And I'm going to go through what Discord is, but it's essentially like Slack meets Clubhouse meets like FaceTime, if I had to really kind of simplify it. And so there's chat channels in there. You can go live in there. Yeah, it's really amazing. I love it. And then you also get discounted tickets for future workshops that I'm going to do in this tier. So, I'm planning on doing a Mercury retrograde workshop, which is what started kind of this whole deconstructing of my business and creating this community for people was a Mercury retrograde where I just I'll pop up I did a 4-part series here, so I'll pop up a card here if you want to go check that out. That kind of started this whole journey in pivoting my business. So doing a workshop with that. In the new year, I also want to facilitate a new moon, new year planning party, which I do for myself at the beginning of the year. And so in this tier, you'll get discounted tickets for that. So those workshops will be sold publicly for people. But if you are in the Patreon community, or the Authentic Souls Club community, I should call it, which is hosted on Patreon and Discord. If you're in the community, then you get discounted tickets to be able to attend that. And then you also get $25 off a one-on-one guidance call, because even though I don't feel aligned with doing full-on one-on-one packages anymore, I still think that one-on-one does have a lot of merit and it is really, really beneficial. And so those are regularly $175. Which again, I'll put the link in the description below if that's something that you're interested in having with me. And then you also get a sneak peek and first access to new products that I'm going to release. So, like I am really big into mugs and chai lattes and matcha lattes and hoodies and journals. And I'm in the process of writing a book right now. And I want to create a planner and all of these things. So my members in the community are going to get sneak peek access and an input into creating those things. So now I want to talk a little bit about Discord, because all the levels after Spiritually Curious have access to Discord. And so what Discord is like I said, it's kind of like Slack meets Clubhouse meets FaceTime. And so this is my server, is what it's called in Discord. And so these are all of the different channels here. And the announcements is essentially going to be me just like popping things in there. If there's, a pop-up training that I'm doing, if there's, I'm going to go live, or whatever it is, any kind of announcement I have, something that's changing, something that's coming up, I'm going to pop into the announcements tab and then you'll get a notification for that. The event calendar tab is where every single month I'm going to pop in what we're doing that month. So whether there's a live training, if I'm going to be doing hot seat coaching calls, whatever it is, the events calendar is going to be a place for you to see what we're actually doing that month. And then club guidelines are obviously, house rules. So when you join, you're recommended to take a read through this and make sure that you're just kind of on board with everything that we stand for and that we want to have in the community. And then this join the convo little section here is where, so if I click on this here, it says voice connected. So I can also turn on the video. I have a little blocker here, but if I turn on my video, where's my video? There we go. If I turn on my video, then you can see me, right? So this is kind of like me going live on Facebook or whatnot. So I think that's pretty cool. And then I can hang up. So that's going to be really utilized for me, just like popping into the group. And, if I'm like doing my hair and I'm thinking about something, it's really just going to be a channel to like hang out with me while I'm getting ready or anything like that. Because I always find that when I join communities, I'm an Enneagram number 2. And so I tend to give a lot and I get really invested in things. And I feel like a lot of the times I don't get that reciprocated in a lot of the communities I join. So again, that's why I decided to create my own. And hopefully I attract people into this community that want to be just as invested and really want to have these conversations and these dialogues. This piece of hair is just driving me absolutely mental right now. And then the hot seat, this is kind of closer to what you would see in Clubhouse. So this, you can like start the stage and pick a topic that you want to talk about. And so this is where, everybody can kind of listen in on 2 people or more people having a dialogue, having a conversation. And so this is where I'm going to choose hot seat people. And to be chosen for a hot seat, you do have to be in either the invested or the guided level. And then you'll be put onto an Excel sheet. And then every month I'm going to choose X number of people. I haven't quite decided yet how many I want to do. I want to see, what the community looks like and what the need is. I might do 2 or 3 in one call or whatnot. I haven't, full disclosure, I haven't decided yet because I want this membership to be evolving and I want it to be something that people actually want, right? So once I have members in the community, then I will see where it grows and where it evolves. But pardon me, let's just say like Carolina's hot seat or something like that. Right? And then you can start the stage. And then again, like kind of like Clubhouse, like people will be on the stage and then you'll have people in the audience. And then people can come and go, listen in, you can request, maybe I don't have anybody for the hot seat or whatever, or you want to ask me something or whatnot. Again, it's going to grow as it grows, right? So that's what the hot seat is. And then the sharing circle is kind of like the same thing as the get ready with C, but this one, everybody is going to be able to start one. So if everybody, if people just kind of want to hang out and want to talk on video or whatever, you can have people and you can have like multiple people be your, this is almost kind of like a Zoom, I guess, kind of like a Zoom room. And you can all kind of hang out with one another. And yeah. That's what the sharing circle is. It's a place for you to share together. And then Soulful Connection, these are chat channels. So again, when you join, you're going to be recommended to introduce yourself in the introductions channel. Authentic chat box is just, anything and everything. Like if you like where we can discuss ideas and whatnot. That's just the miscellaneous or the main chat box, I should say. Then mindset madness is separated out from that. So if somebody's really struggling with something or are really needing support or help in something, I want to make sure that it's separated and it doesn't get lost in the chaos of what I'm assuming the authentic chat box is going to become. So I wanted to pull out the mindset madness just so that I could make sure that anybody who is struggling or really needs help with something can have that attention. And then Ask Me Anything is obviously, again, so it doesn't get lost in the authentic chat box. If anybody has a question they want to ask me or anything like that, they can tag me in this and yeah, literally ask me anything. So that's the soulful connection section. Resources, so gratitude practice. This is something that I think is so beneficial, just like psychologically speaking, right? And spirituality is science, spirituality is psychology. What we focus on expands, and what we think about is what our brain inadvertently looks for. And so when we really focus on gratitude and being grateful for the things that we have, our brain starts to look for more of them, which elevates our energy, which then elevates our life and the opportunities and the people and the experiences that are then attracted to us. It was like a law of attraction 101 in 0.5 seconds. Tools that I love. So, sharing different books and resources and apps and whatever that really benefit me and my spirituality and my life. Definitely going to share those in there. Like this Discord community, I can just already imagine how much it is going to be amazing. And then special requests again. So if somebody has a downloadable asset request or a video request or a live training request or anything like that, that's where the special requests go in so that I can see and make sure that I'm delivering what the community actually wants. So that's the resources tab. And then the go with the flow tab is just like extra. So miscellaneous chat, if you maybe can't figure it, like you don't think it belongs in the authentic chat box because it's not about spirituality or, connection or anything like that. The miscellaneous chat box is just for whatever and whenever. Maybe somebody has like a really obscure question or something like that. I don't know. If it's not needed, I can delete it at some point. And then the memes and GIFs chat, because I freaking love memes and I love GIFs. I think they're so funny. So this channel is literally like, that's how you communicate with each other. And I think it's going to just be fucking hilarious. So I'm really excited for this channel to just see the conversations that happen using solely memes and GIFs. I just think it's going to be absolutely hilarious. And then inspiring quotes. I see, like, I love quotes. Like, I know it's cheesy, but I fucking love them. And so whenever I see something online or on Instagram or Pinterest or whatever that inspires me, and other people can share them as well, right? Share them with the community just to be like an uplifting place. Again, like the gratitude practice is also kind of meant for that as well. Being able to just go in and, like, if you're feeling a little bit down in the dumps, being able to go to the gratitude practice, see what other people are grateful for, and it starts to get your wheels turning. Like, oh, this person was grateful for that. I have that too. Like, that is something that I can be grateful for. And again, like inspiring quotes, maybe you're feeling a little bit in the dumps. So you want to go through the inspiring quotes and be like, oh, like, that makes me feel better. That's my goal for this community. My goal for this community is for people to come find what they need and what works for them and leave feeling better. I just kind of want to leave it at that. So that's the Discord community. And that is included in both in the 3 levels after Curious. So Curious doesn't include the Discord community because that's just for people kind of starting out, wanting to dip their toes in. But for learning, invested, and guided, Discord community is included in that. So going on to the invested, again, this is like you're invested in spirituality. Like, you kind of know your systems, you kind of know your practices, you know your rituals, and you've been following my content for a while and have wanted to have either worked with me one-on-one in the past, or you've wanted to work with me, but there's been a little bit of a barrier to entry. This is a like mind-blowingly accessible opportunity to connect with me and to work with me. So again, you get everything in the Curious and the Learning tier. As well, like I said, you get added to a hot seat list for one-on-one attention in a group setting. So like I was showing you that stage, that will be the opportunity for us to have a dialogue and for the community to be able to benefit from that dialogue. That is the point of this, being able to, again, like see ourselves in other people, hear our stories in other people. And if you're that one-on-one person, obviously it'll be very targeted to your situation. In the invested, you also get VIP tickets included to the workshops. So for learning, you get a discounted ticket. For invested, you actually get that ticket included. So anytime I do a workshop, you're immediately invited with your VIP ticket, no extra charge there. And then for the invested, you also get discounted rates for the merchandise that I'm eventually going to release. I don't know when, don't hold it against me, but it is something that I am working on, one thing at a time here. Like, let me build this community and then see like when these mugs and sweaters and planners and journals and all of that kind of stuff are going to be released. But you will get VIP pricing on those being in the community. And then if you scroll down here, it says see all 4 levels. So this is where you can see the spiritually guided. And so right now I'm only doing a limit of 5 because I just kind of want to see where my energy is at, taking care of everybody in the community, as well as these 5 guided members. And so the guided members are like, you are pretty much on par with me, right? Like you are tapped in, you tap into your spirituality before anything else, and you just want that a little bit elevated experience of receiving monthly personalized insight and guidance from me, messages channeled through my gifts, in order to like really feel deeply connected and reminded that you are on the right path. So in this tier, you get everything in all of the other tiers, as well as a monthly personalized 3-card reading. So that will be delivered either video or PDF, depending on what season I'm in the year. Sometimes I don't really like showing up on video, so I will do it more of a PDF or an audio or whichever. Regardless of the medium that I do it, you will receive that 3-card reading. And then you get to choose whether you want it to be a new moon reading, a full moon reading, or otherwise, like whatever, maybe you have a question or whatnot. So yeah, there we go. And then down here, obviously, there's just like a little write up from me. The 4 things that I know to be true that I've really learned over the past couple of years is that people trust me. People, I'll have strangers, like I'll have full on strangers telling me their life story in the grocery store. Like people just feel comfortable with me, and I'm able to really pull out that authentic truth in people. So when they start to get too in their head, I'm able to get in there and just like pull it out of them. I make things really simple. So I'm an avid reader. I love to do research. I love to learn. And so I can take these concepts that I learned that might be confusing for people and really break them down into manageable and understandable steps. So that's a gift that I have. Number 3 is I take a practical approach to my spirituality. So like, I don't know, I feel like this really resonates with spiritually curious millennials because, like I don't know every crystal out there. When people are like, what kind of crystal is this? I was like, I don't fucking know. I know the crystals that I benefit from. I know clear quartz. I know rose quartz. I black obsidian, right? Like I know the crystals that benefit me, that I have a good experience with, and that I felt that I have needed. And then number 4 is that there's a space missing for people who are like me, who are really practical and who are really spiritual and who are really analytical and who are really tapped in and intuitive. So there we have it. That's a walkthrough of the Authentic Souls Club community. So if that's something that you're interested in, again, the link will be in the description below. You can go check out the page here and find which tier, which level really resonates with you, whether you are spiritually curious, spiritually learning, spiritually invested, or spiritually guided. I really hope that you are able to see yourself in one of the tiers and you are able to find a place where you finally feel like you belong in your spiritual journey. So there we have it. If you liked this video, and you want to give it a thumbs up, please give it a thumbs up. This will, even if you don't plan on joining the Authentic Souls Club community, that's totally fine, right? You know, maybe these prices are still just a little bit outside of your comfort zone or outside of your ability to invest in yourself, and that's totally okay. That's why I have the YouTube channel, right? This is the free option. This is an accessible option for you. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not unable to join the community, still give it a thumbs up, because this will let YouTube know to send it out to people, that this is good shit. And so it will send it out to people, and people who need this will find it, right? So if this is something that you are really passionate about and you think that what I'm doing is amazing and you are equally, energetically invested in spiritually curious content, right? And helping change the way people look at spirituality, and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and pop your answers to the question I asked at the very beginning below in the comments below. I love you so much. I'm so excited to be with you on this journey, and I hope you enjoy this content. Beyond that, I know that was really awkward. I apologize. Welcome to my realness, real mess, which is probably going to be on a mug, if I'm being completely honest, or a t-shirt or something like that.
Recording in progress.
It's very loud.